Online presence versus presence online. Why do I title it that? Why will that in 5 years still be titled the exact same thing and it'll probably just say 7.0? Because both of those things are completely different meanings. So how do we break it down? If I wanted to move to San Antonio tomorrow, I wanted to move here and become a competitor of yours. And I wanted to absolutely annihilate and crush every other real estate agent in this area. I wanted to dominate the market share, and wherever a resident drove in San Antonio, they saw my face, my company, my phone number. Wherever they drove, they couldn't get away with those three things. What would I have to be willing to do?
Market yourself online, target.
Yeah, but wherever they drive, in San Antonio. Saturate the market by doing what? Boom. Spend thousands of dollars a month. Thousands. Easily 10 grand minimum a month. On what? Billboards, park benches, bus benches, buses, car washes, movies, newspapers, magazines, shopping carts, the baton that separates the groceries on the conveyor belt. And if I was willing to spend thousands of dollars a month on that massive of a marketing campaign here in San Antonio, it would work. Still to this day, it would work. Why? Because marketing is about subconscious connection, and people don't get that. It's not that they're in the store looking at the shopping cart and going, oh my goodness, brilliant. I need to list my house with her. Oh, and she even said, enjoy your grocery shopping. So smart. It's so that when they're referred to that person says, oh, the shopping cart lady. Oh, the billboard guy. It's name recognition. Or it's the person who's driven by that billboard for the last 8 years here in San Antonio. The bus benches, the park benches, and finally they get promoted at work. Who's the first person they think that they finally get to call and ask questions about real estate? It's subconscious. They want to get that time that they've invested staring at that face back. They don't know that that's the reason. The consumer doesn't know that's the reason. The subconscious wants its time back. And if I was willing to do that, I would have what you call San Antonio presence when 99% of the remaining competitors of mine are just present in San Antonio. Follow? Good. Same thing online. Every one of you in this room is present online. Tony, I have a Facebook. I have a LinkedIn. I have a website. I'm present online. Awesome. Now I'm curious. How many transactions have you closed this year so far that came directly from just your Facebook? Just your Facebook friend page, actually. Tony, I've closed 3 transactions here in Greater San Antonio this year that came directly as a result from my friend page of Facebook, through friends of friends, that I never would have known. And it's added up to $32,000 in GCI. Oh, so you don't do Facebook. Because if you actually did Facebook purposefully, you'd be closing 1 transaction a week just from an hour of lead gen on Facebook every month. a week. See, you just do what 99% of most agents do, which is allow Facebook to happen. You allow social media to happen. And when it happens here and there, you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. That's why it's important to have a Facebook, because I just got this deal. That's what they're talking. I'm definitely not going to delete it now and deactivate it. I see the value. That's just allowing it to happen. Everything we do in our business, the majority of it, is not lead generation. Very few people in this room, I guarantee, do not actually truly do what I define as lead generation. So another section of that sophisticated impression course is called lead generation versus lead assumption. See, the majority of us lead assume. I lead assume. But you'd be surprised what I call lead assumption versus lead generation. Lead assumption is everything that gives you business, pretty much. Direct mailers, assuming they're going to give you a lead. I go to that charity event, rub elbows with people, hand them out my card, assuming it's going to give me a lead. I added Kathy as a friend on Facebook who referred me a $6 million transaction, assuming she was going to refer me a $6 million transaction. Everything we do is lead assumption, and it will make you an ungodly amount of money. But if you just lead generated for an hour a day, it would be extraordinary. What is lead generation? Simply asking 15 to 20 people every day, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? Everything else is lead assumption. So if I had asked Kathy in a private message on Facebook, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? That counts as lead generation, even if her answer is no. But you need to get 20 responses a day. I don't care if they're all no's. Because that means what's coming?
Yes.
The yeses. Law of averages. So that's lead generation. And you can do that via text, private message on Facebook, private message on LinkedIn. You just have to ask that question every day to a dozen or two people and watch what comes out of it. But it's the way you ask them is everything. And what's the number one way we love to communicate? Texting and social media, especially under the age of 39, and guaranteed the only two ways under the age of 34 does. And they're your next doctors, attorneys, and homeowners. So lead generation versus lead assumption. Online presence is the opposite. Online presence is doing two things every day. And I will give you level 1 and certify you for having online presence if in 30 days it can be proven to me that you've been doing these two things. I'm not going to certify you for the highest level, but you get to now officially say, I have online presence. So I'm going to give you 98 things to do today. Not kidding. But none of those things will work if you're not doing these two things. I tried to narrow it down. I got it down to 12. I got it down to 5. I was trying my hardest to get it down to one thing because of the book and everything, but I couldn't. You got to do two things online. So I'm just going to come out with a book called The Second Thing. Actually, the second and third thing, because the one thing is what? Lead gen. But online, you actually have to do two things. Online presence is an audience that grows in size, not yearly, not quarterly, not monthly, not weekly. Your audience grows in size daily. and throughout the day by about 25 people a day. We're not talking lead generation. We didn't say we asked them the question. We're saying just your audience is growing in size by 25 people a day. 10 new friends on Facebook, 10 new connections on LinkedIn. You got 2 new followers on Instagram. You added 3 people from the open house to your top producer, EDGE CRM, which is also considered online. Your overall online audience that you can talk to grows in size by 25 people a day. Do the math. 10 days later, 20 days later, 30 days later. And then the second thing is you have to give that audience value consistently every week. Value. And under the age of 34, that's all they want is value. That generation has grown up with information being shoved down their throats and into their eyes and ears. So if you are not worth my top 20% of information that I get hit with every day, I don't even want to be connected with you online. You give me no value at all. And when I say value, I am not talking about new listing, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, such and such community. Open this Saturday between 12 and 5. Call us for details or a private showing. Market's really started to heat up. Entertainers delight. Motivated seller. Whole hashtag. #1 agent in San Antonio.
No one cares.
Just closed. 4-bedroom, 2-bath. They were so lovely to work with. Market continues to be strong. Call us if you ever have any questions regarding real estate. Hashtag best team in San Antonio. Price reduction. Another price reduction. Open. Open again. Another one. Another one under contract. Another one under contract. I love referrals.
I love referrals.
Now I'm talking about you posted a picture of your dog doing something funny and made 963 complete strangers on your Facebook laugh their butts off that morning. See, Kathy got value from her relationship with me online, and I happen to be a realtor. She got value. I inspired her, motivated her, made her laugh, whatever it might have been. Our similar interests. That was the value I'm talking about. And then occasionally said something about real estate to remind her, oh, that's right. But it's really just what it started as. Social. It's called social media. If you're only doing one of those things, it doesn't matter if you do the other 98 things I tell you to do today. It won't work. The other 98 things are that if you're doing these 2, they just increase the ROI even more. But if you're only doing 1, this is how it sounds. Tony, I've been adding people every day like you said to. Every single day. I've gone from 380 friends on Facebook to 992. I've gone from 268 connections on LinkedIn to over 1,000 now. Wow. That is unbelievably an amazing explosion in percentage increase to your database. You are doing that one thing I said to do. Good for you. I'm proud of you. Now, how often are you giving them value and staying in their mind? I think I post like once a week. Not good enough. You're not staying in their mind. They don't even feel like they know you. You have to do both. Oh, that's right, Tony. You said both. Or the flip side. Tony, I've been giving my following massive value every day. I've completely changed the way I post. I'm not a boring robot anymore that shoves business down their throat like my competitors. I'm just my natural self. I do subtle reminders, asking questions, language of sales. I'm just human, as if they're in a room with me like you said to do. And I'm getting more comments now, more likes that I've never had before. It really does work. Awesome. And I've even got a couple deals out of it from a friend who was in the comments. Congratulations, that's awesome. Now I'm curious, 30 days ago you started with 400 friends on Facebook. What are you at now? I think I'm at like 398. Or I'm at 419. Not good enough. 19 new people in 30 days? Shame on you. Those 400 people already think of you when they hear the word real estate, I guarantee you. You have rocked their world and they're loving what you're posting now and the value they have with you. What if you had gone out and just taught another 400 in San Antonio to know the exact same thing? If those 400 people have referred you 2 deals in the last 6 months, what would another 400 people referred you? And another 400, and another 400, and then 4,000. And by the way, if one of you or a few of you in this room have 2,000 friends on your friend page of Facebook, and you're like, I already have that. Guess what you get to do? Hit 5,000. You are never done. That's just the bare minimum to work towards. Some of the biggest agents I know in the nation, who I coach, have 28,000 people in their databases. Not even counting social media, just their top producer. We're never done growing our audience. That's our job in sales. So now that we know the difference, I ask you, what happened to 92% of all travel agents and travel agencies in the mid to late 2000s? And side note real quick, there's no morning break. You go right into the lunch break, and then there's an afternoon break. But there's no morning break. You're not going to offend me if you have to use the restroom. So, 92% of all travel agents and travel agencies in the mid to late 2000s, what happened to them? Gone. Wiped off the planet. But 8% of them survived. And they're still going strong to this day. But 92% of that industry was wiped off the planet in the late 2000s because of a little old website that was launched by an executive at Microsoft in 1996 called you gotta speak up if you're gonna give me these names, right? Expedia.com. Our older ones, remember the jingle? .com. I don't know why they stopped doing it. It stuck. It's a good jingle. You couldn't get away from it. You turn on the radio in your car. Expedia.com. You were watching the Super Bowl, and there was a farmer on the little patio of his little ranch. Expedia.com. People started saying it for their own websites. Just go to my real estate site. It's johnsmith.com. Because he understood one thing. Marketing. Couldn't get away from it, so tens and tens and tens of thousands of people want to see what it's all about. You shove things in front of people's face, they want to use it. Period. Number one rule of marketing. So as Expedia grows so quickly, Because all he did was give consumers access to information at their fingertips they had never had access to before. That they didn't need to walk into a travel agency, sit down with a travel agent, and say, so tell me about what resort we should go to in Maui. Oh, I can clearly see what resort we should go to in Maui. Testimonials. Don't stay in that room. There's a tree in front of it. Ask for a different room number. The tree blocks the view of Lanai. It was right there at their fingertips now. And wait, what? I can book right through here? So then, tens of thousands of people are using it because they can't get away from it, from the radios and TVs. So Rich, the founder from Microsoft, starts going to all the resorts and airlines and says, hey, I have tens of thousands of people trying to book flights on American through my website. You only have a few hundred. If they book through me, American, give them a discount? Sure, Rich. Literally what they did. Whatever you say, bro. Because you're obviously what consumers want, and I need consumers to eat. Sure. And then a competitor rose up. Literally just 2 years after Expedia was exploding in 1998. Better functionality, easier to use than Expedia, and did everything Expedia could do. And they were going to take Expedia out, and we're a better platform. Anybody want to guess their name? Travelocity, Orbitz, Upline. You won't know their name. Because Expedia bought them before anybody knew they existed. Because the one thing that company didn't take serious enough was, guess what?
Marketing.
Marketing. Nobody knew they existed, even though they were better. Because they didn't take it seriously to fund a massive marketing campaign and do the #1 rule in sales or building a brand, get in front of as many eyes and ears as you can, and tell them what you do for them. Which is the exact same rule of an agent. All of you in this room, who cares how great of an agent we are, how ethical we are, how we go to every training and know the contracts like the back of our hand. Who cares how good we are if no one knows we exist? Besides those 485 friends on Facebook, 612 people in my database, and 392 connections on LinkedIn. What if you had gone out and got 6,000 people to know you exist here in San Antonio? So Expedia bought them. And then, a couple more years later, they hit 1 million mark of users. So he goes back to the airlines and everybody in the early 2000s and says, hey, keep giving them a discount? Sure, Rich, of course, for the rest of the time. Give me a piece? Sure, Rich, whatever you want. You're obviously what consumers want, and I need consumers to eat. So what do you want, 10%? 15%? No, like 1%. Times tens of millions of people doing it. Here, you go, infinity, forever, 1%. Thanks. And then a few years later, history, the travel industry. But then some giants rose that did give Expedia a run for their money. Because they did take marketing seriously. And they were going to take Expedia out. We're not just going to be their competitor. We're going to wipe Expedia off the planet. And who were those companies? Travelocity, Orbitz, bless you, And what did Expedia do? Bought them. Expedia owns Travelocity. Expedia owns Orbitz. A handful of other companies. Why? Because he can. He was first. He's got the billions to just buy any threat that rises. Who cares if people don't like our platform as much as they like Travelocity? We own them. And by the mid to late 2000s, Rich at one point goes, oops, I am so sorry. I did not mean to completely wipe your industry off the face of the planet and wipe out 92% of so many jobs of complacent travel agents no longer willing to innovate and adapt for their consumer base. But now that I know that I can, I think I'll hop on the board of directors of my friend's company and help him take out Blockbuster. So Rich, founder of Expedia, hops on the board of directors of Netflix. Implements the exact same strategy. Give consumers access to information at their fingertips in the comfort of their home that they've never had access to before. Streaming movies. Video Time, Video Store, Video Smart, Video This, Video Who, Video When. All the small boutiques, mom and pop shops, gone in a year and a half. Gone. Except for one. The multi-billion-dollar unsinkable ship, Blockbuster Inc. We're not going anywhere. Netflix, so stupid. A couple years later, all right, impressive, made a nice little run. We're gonna buy you, Netflix. How about $1 billion? Yeah, no. Why don't you triple that? You're out of your mind, Netflix. You're not even gonna continue to grow. How could you even come close to being worth what we're worth? Never mind. Good luck, Netflix. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall at Blockbuster headquarters in the boardroom for the first few years Netflix was around, and the board of directors' topic of discussion was Netflix. I wish I could have been there, in all of it. Because here's how I know it went. Because they were fighting. So I know for a fact this is how it went. Netflix, so stupid. We don't have to worry about them, gentlemen. We're not going to do anything for our consumers. Are you sure, Bill? Because Netflix is really taking off now. And you saw what Napster did to music. And Netflix is kind of doing it with video streaming. Are you sure we shouldn't, innovate a little? No. Here's why. We don't have to worry about Netflix. See, when somebody decides to rent a movie, they want to put all the dinner in Tupperware. And they want to rinse off all the plates in their sink. And they want to put all the Tupperware away in the refrigerator. And when they decide to rent a movie, they want that 15 minutes to have gone by as they cleaned up. And then they want to go upstairs to the second floor and herd the cats and get their kids all together and bundle them up in little hoodies. And then they want to get out of their pajamas and put their jeans and t-shirt back on themselves. And then they want to look around the house for 5 minutes for their car keys. And then they want to find their car keys. And the reason we don't have to worry about Netflix is they want to get in their car. And they want to drive a couple miles away, which is why we put so many in so many places to make it convenient for them. And they want to drive a couple miles down the street, and they want to pull in the parking lot. And the reason we don't have to worry about Netflix, they want to see those big, bright, blue, yellow lights. because it makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside, like, kids, it's movie night. And the reason we don't have to worry about Netflix is they want to walk into our storefront to the very back wall of germ-covered plastic. And they want to grab one of the germ-covered plastic DVDs off the wall. And they want to stand by somebody who's coughing up a lung. And they actually want to turn the DVD around and read what the movie's about. They actually want to read the small paragraph that doesn't even really say what it's really about. And then the reason we don't have to worry about Netflix is they love it when our UPC sticker is on top of the paragraph. So we can't finish reading what the movie's about. That's why we have those finger marks right there where they're trying to lift up the plastic. And then they want to get the movie anyways. And the reason we don't have to worry about Netflix is they want to stand in line with screaming children on what kind of candy they want. That's why we put the candy at the checkout line. And then they want to get the movie anyways. And then they want to go home, settle in, and they want to slide that disc into the player and see that it skips a little. Or maybe we won't go that far. Nobody likes that. The movie was great, and they enjoyed it, and they go to bed. And do you want to know the number one reason we don't have to worry about Netflix board members? What's that, Bill? They want to wake up the next morning, late for work, forget to return the movie until we attach late fees to their account, suspend it, and put it into collections. That's what the consumer wants. The moment they decide to rent a movie, and an hour and a half later, when it could have been over, they're just putting it in the disc player to start watching. That's what they want. But is that what we want? No. We want to sign into Netflix, Apple TV, Google TV, Hulu. We want to watch a trailer on a movie, see what somebody has said and rated the movie. Not Ben Affleck's best, but you'll probably watch it once and never again. Start the movie, horrible, off. Great, watch it, and go to bed. So finally, when Blockbuster hit their uh-oh factor, what did they start doing? Blockbuster.com. Because there's no way we can even offer what they probably would have taken 3 years ago at Netflix. Because now Netflix was worth 10 times Blockbuster. And doesn't have one single store. Because of one word. The same thing that changed Tony's life, the same thing that changed Expedia's life, the same thing that changed Netflix consumers' lives. Online. An app. Online. Isn't it shocking what we had to do just a few years ago to rent a movie? Half of you were like, oh my God, please stop. I'm never going to get that time back in my life. Some of you young ones were like, what's Blockbuster? Like a place where you bust blocks. It's like a store, like you touch something? You like touch something somebody else did? You brought it into your house? Ew. You have no idea who was watching that movie the night before, doing whatever. Gross. Do they wipe them off? Like, when people return them? Huh. So, happening to another industry. Yellow Cab. Because once again, a little app, online, was launched 6 years ago. Not 3 years ago. 6 years ago. Called Uber. Lyft now, Uber's competitor. $11 billion national brand of yellow cab. We're not talking about Classy Taxi and San Antonio Taxi and Gentleman's Taxi and the Butler Taxi. We're not talking about the small ones. They're going to be gone first. The $11 billion national brand of yellow cab is literally single-handedly being wiped off the planet, just like Blockbuster, just like the travel industry, because of an app called Uber. And in less than 5 years, Uber is worth $60 billion and owns not one single car. They are actually the most profitable company in the billions over any other company that's ever existed, in the sense of the speed at which they hit 50 billion. Not Apple hit 50 billion that quick. Microsoft didn't hit 50 billion that quick. They are the fastest company ever because access. It's happening to all industries. But let's go back to Expedia and Netflix. The founder of Expedia, who hopped on the board of directors of Netflix, would you say completely changed those two industries forever? Yes? Well, his name is Rich Barton. Sound familiar? Because he's the founder of Zillow. This is where I let you all have a moment. There's paper bags in the back in case you need to relieve yourself. I'm not kidding. Rich Barton, the founder of Expedia, board member of Netflix, is still the founder and majority owner of Zillow. And all he did was give consumers access to information they had never had access to before, that we, agents, used to be the gatekeeper of. The Holy Land, the MLS. You needed an agent to access the MLS. You do not need an agent to access the MLS anymore. Get it out of your head. You needed an agent to find you a home. You do not need a real estate agent to find you a home anymore. Definitely get that out of your head. You want to be one of the 92% of real estate agents who are fighting the giant? Like Blockbuster, Expedia, Yellow Cab? You are going to lose a horrible battle. There's no David and Goliath story online. That can only happen physically. No David online takes out a Goliath online. Never has happened, never will happen. Goliaths take out all of the Davids. So I dropped that Zillow bomb 3 years ago in front of 20,000 real estate agents. Massive audience. When I dropped it, the gasp of air was priceless. Ugh. Heard it. I actually felt the breath. And I dropped that bomb with the Zillow and Trulia executives behind stage coming on after me for a panel to discuss the merger of Zillow and Trulia. Oh, that's funny. What did he do in Expedia when a competitor rose? Bought it. Oh, what has he done at Zillow when a threat has rose? Bought Trulia, apartments, a few others, and one that he's about to buy that nobody knows, that I have inside information on. That makes it now illegal for me to purchase IPO. because it's insider trading. So I just have to wait. Crazy. He just does the same thing because he has the billions to do it. So I walk off stage and I walk to the back behind the curtain, and the Zillow executive, not Rich, just one of the Zillow executives and one of the Truly executives, right by a couple of our executives at KW, behind the little suite that we have behind the stage. He looked right at me and he goes, I had no idea where you were going with that. But thank goodness you went where you did. Because where I took that audience, Zillow is not our competitor. Because where does he make his billions this time? Us. But if he came up to me right now and said, hey, Joe, I have millions of people looking for agents every single minute of the day. If they book you through me, sound familiar? Give them a discount? Sure. Whatever you say, bro. Because you're obviously what consumers want, and I need consumers to eat. So sure, I'll give him a discount. If he even ever asks that, which he hasn't. Will he be the reason that 20 years ago when the national 6% real estate commission average dropped to 5, 15 years ago, and now Zillow and these massive search platforms will be the reason the national average becomes 4, maybe? Yeah, I see that happening. I don't care. Plenty of money to still be made. Loan officers can't make what they did a few years ago. They're capped. Can't make multiple points. They're still going. Their average has dropped way down. If he came to me tomorrow and said, book through me, give me a piece. Sure, Rich. Whatever you say, bro. Because you're obviously what consumers want, and I need consumers to eat. So what do you want? I just wrote a check for 25%, $33,000 to another agent. You just want referral fees? Why would I give referral fees to agents and not a referral fee to him? Why doesn't he deserve the same referral fee? No, Tony. Like 5% or 1%. Sure, done. Couldn't care less. He has no desire to be an online brokerage. He's simply what consumers want. So I've been saying this for a few months, and I just see it from 10 miles away. Zillow is not the end of the agent as we know it. Zillow is the end of the MLSs as we know it. Because where do consumers prefer to look at property? Third-party platforms that are 15% inaccurate compared to Zillow. But it's 10 times the information that MLS ever will be. So we prefer to shop there. And it's easier, and I can't turn on my radio without hearing Zillow. I can't watch a Super Bowl without seeing this nice-looking family sitting at their kitchen table. And the little dog runs by. And the little child is eating his cereal. Looks so cute, and the wife is pregnant. And she's like, look, babe, isn't that the pool we're looking for? Yeah, honey. You think it's still available? It says it is. Let's look at it. Contact agent. And then the next shot is in the front grass lawn. Yeah, you're not beating them. Raise your hand and you challenge me. Oh, I'm going to beat it. No, you're not. So you have two choices. Fight the giant or embrace the giant. I embrace the giant. How do I embrace the giant? A lot of different ways. First way, my team structure, me, executive assistants, buyer's agents, listing coordinator, marketing, technology, showing specialist, Zillow. That's the name of my showing specialist, is Zillow. Zillow shows properties for my buyers every single day, on the hour, every hour. Now I want you to raise your hand if you fit this category. Raise your hand if in the last couple years you had a buyer and you were sending the buyer all the MLS links for their criteria and they would text you back, Zillow, truly a Redfin links.
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Keep your hand up, please. Everybody look around. This is important. So let me get this straight. You text them MLS links or email them, and they text you back those platforms' names. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the links they sent you one time, you called on it, and raise your hand if this is going to be, you're in this category. It was available. You showed it to them. They wrote an offer. It was accepted. It closed. And you got a commission check. Everybody look around. Huh. 2 years ago, in a room this size, there were 1 or 2 hands up. If I hear another agent tell me Zillow leads are crap, I would flip out.